Who do we have to seat? Bad, we'll seat Bad for Carl, because you're both Republicans. Everybody else is good, right? Okay, public participation. I hope we've all seen the agenda. If anybody has anything that's not on the agenda you'd like to address, this would be the time. Okay, seeing no hands, we'll move on to Mr. Leonard, whom I don't know.
Oh, Blake Leonard should be here at the next meeting.
Okay, so cancel that.
That should be all set.
We'll go on, we're gonna rearrange the agenda a little bit. We're gonna do, is it 1717, Sonia?
Yes.
Application 1717 first, because scheduling issues for some people.
Site plan is right there on top of the folder. Ski.
Oh, I love you, this is great. Organized? It's terrifying.
Good evening, Ron Wolf, professional engineer at my office in Woodbury, representing the owner and applicant, Kevin Bennett. And I appreciate you readjusting the schedule for us this evening. And I'll give you a quick overview of the project. It's located on the south side of Old Waterbury Road. It's number 312, it has an area of 2.5 acres. And wish I could get the mic.
Yeah, you can take it.
Okay, so it's 2.5 acres, and it's 312 Old Waterbury Road. The surveying was done by Reardon Surveying here in Southbury, and Wetlands was flagged by Eric Davison. There's two wetland areas on the property. One just on the east property line out by Old Waterbury Road. You could see it's just like a little isolated patch of wetlands. And the more primary wetland is the southerly wetland area that's associated with the Bullet Hill Brook, which basically runs east-west through the property, all the way at the southerly property line. You see the Bullet Hill Brook. And Mr. Bennett is proposing an apartment building that would have 16 units in it, and also a detached accessory storage building, a 20 by 32. We have a proposed parking area and driveway that comes off of the easterly side of Old Waterbury Road. And we have some activity associated with that driveway within 50 feet of the wetland area. The first one I mentioned, right in this location here. And there's some activity associated with a stormwater basin at the southern end of the property that's within the 100-foot regulated area of the Bullet Hill Brook. For the most part, the soils on the site are all well-drained sands and gravels. We have a septic system that was approved by the State Health Department, and we have a drainage system that consists of 2 catch basins with a series of infiltration galleries. They're 48-inch infiltration galleries. It's a similar configuration as what we have at the property next door at 336th, which this commission approved a few years back. We have infiltration galleries, and then those overflow to a little stormwater basin that has a riprap apron just for high storm events. If this infiltration system overflows, it would then go to a stormwater basin. Let's see. There is, I forgot to mention, but there's an existing house located on the site that's essentially going to be tore down, and it's basically within the footprint of the proposed apartment building. The building will have public water, underground utilities, and that's about it. I could answer any questions for you. We did have a site walk with the commission, or some members of the commission a few weeks back.
That was on the 17th.
I just, Thad Burr, I'm one of the members here. I just have one quick question. Why was it that you put the driveway on this side where the wetland is instead of on the other side?
For the record, Kevin Bennett, Bennett Sullivan Associates. The part of the reason was we didn't want to put the building back towards where the wetlands were, and we thought that this would be less of an impact into the to the area. It's also a natural area for the sight lines for coming out of the driveway, so it just worked out in the very beginning that made logical sense, so.
Is that, if you remember, the other driveway of the adjoining property comes out right on the side. If we were to push it to the opposite side, that's the two driveways would likely be coming out at the same location.
Yeah.
Well, that's not so great.
So impervious surface rather than excavating for
Who did the
deep
site,
footings and
who did the
foundation
sidewalk?
walls.
Did you do it?
That and I.
Would you, anything else, any other issues?
No, I think, first of all, I was on the site walk for the property next door, and that has really, I think, turned out to be not a problem. It looks great. I thought that everything he showed us on this property made sense. I was just asking, I'm not against it, I'm just asking why did you put the paved driveway on this side as opposed to the other side, but,
There's also the hedgerow here of the trees, you know, which kind of buffers the parking area. I did that same kind of thing on the first one where there was that row of pines where the existing driveway was, and it kind of put it back. That was the thinking at the time when I did this as well, that this is all vegetated and the parking is gonna go up to the vegetation.
So a couple of things to note while Thad and I were on the site walk. Everything did appear to be pretty simple as far as the site went. It's a very level property, and it's completely cleared as far as the future development that they'll have to do. There's little clearing they're gonna have to actually participate in. The area where the stormwater management system is proposed to go, practically a meadow as it stands right now. So it's a nice lawn. So it's in a lower area than the rest of the property. It's about a 5-foot grade change, 4 or 5 foot grade change. So the stormwater management system actually sits in a lower elevation than the rest of the property,
So it's gonna flow down there pretty
increasing its
normally
capability.
without having to do a lot.
Correct.
Okay. What's the design criteria for the, what storm level event is it designed to hold?
I believe we did a 50-year for that. And then it overflows to
Into the
from
brook?
the galleries into the stormwater basin, and just the one next door, there's never been a discharge into that basin since they built it.
Yeah, I've monitored it.
So galleries
Nothing.
infiltrate all the
Galleys
stormwater,
take
so
care of it.
Yeah, that's
from,
great.
from the roof and the asphalt, so.
Okay.
There's a good amount of debris in the brook, which we discussed while on site. Mr. Bennett had agreed that that would be hand removed. As far as the cleanup of that went, that's included in the resolution. There's a couple other stipulations included in the resolution, including a soil erosion bond and the placement of a simple wetlands marker for the northeast wetlands boundary. I didn't think it necessary for the brook, because the brook stands as its own wetlands marker. That pretty much is the extent of the additional conditions as the resolution stands.
Okay.
And we did add the hay bales and the silt fence for the detention area.
Additional silt fence and erosion controls.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Any other comments or questions? Issues? Ron, you good?
You know how long it's gonna take for the project?
The last one was about 10 months. What we do is, we'll do all the detention area, septic system, and all probably before we even start the foundation. So this stuff will all be mature by the time we actually hook up the storm drainage to it. So,
It's good staging.
yeah,
Okay.
it's easy because we're gonna start in the back and work our way out,
Right.
and it don't make sense.
Mr. Bennett has conveyed that he doesn't intend to immediately start construction on the project. Whether or not construction starts in the next year or two is determined by, tenant
Zoning.
occupancy and, certain aspects that Mr. Bennett seems necessary. I would state on the record that this would be a 5-year permit, just to give it the length that it needs in the event that things get pushed and we don't have to immediately extend with a 2-year permit.
I think it's gonna be delayed that long?
I don't know.
That's
I really
the
don't. It's,
sense that I got.
You know, we have other stuff going on when we get to it. We have people living in there now that are good tenants, and the other house was probably 3 or 4 years before I started it.
Oh, it was?
And it
Okay.
was like, when the people were going out, I said, all right, good, you know, then we went right in and started like the next month. So, I wanna have everything in place.
Okay, I
In
don't
the
have a problem
event
with
we
that.
need to extend the or extend the
If it's
permit,
5 years,
we can-
we'd be,
Should be fine,
oh, yeah.
should be fine.
okay.
Our capability is 2
Do we
to
have
5
a
years.
motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Resolution as drafted?
Yes.
Okay, second,
Second.
Rob seconds, all
It-
in favor,
With a 5-year timeline.
with the 5-limit time limit. All opposed, motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Very much.
Good luck.
Take care, guys.
Okay, let's go back now to the show cause hearings, 1235 Georges Hill, cease and desist.
So, actually, Dom, you can hold off. Appreciate it, though. So, the show cause hearings as they stand currently pending, each applicant has supplied an application as we deemed necessary to remove them from the show cause list. So I would say that we should hold off on reviewing these applications until we get to the old business portion, when we'll hit those applicants anyway.
Oh, okay,
126 Lower Fish Rock Road, you'll get to that, but
same thing.
it's the same
So
thing,
we're gonna put off item 1 and 3.
as well as number 2, because Mr. Van Gelden also has an application. 1200 Main Street South, he has submitted an application. We have plans. Pending approval of the resolution, we can get him off the show cause and approve the remediation work.
As I recall, all we were really waiting for was to get the application in.
That was it.
Does it cover the items that we had discussed?
It does.
'Cause I haven't read it. so-
And I have a resolution drafted, so I will be monitoring the work. Mr. DePompe will be reaching out to me when certain aspects of the project are going to get started, and that'll allow me the opportunity to monitor the work. You've paid the application fee, correct? So Mr. DePompe's paid the application fee, we have an application in, so I think that we can finally fully remove him from the cease and desist that was issued December? Last year?
Yeah, it was last year.
Come a long way.
I don't know, I think we just keep him coming back every month.
Honestly, I'd miss him if he left.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that. Any other issues anybody has? I think we covered most of them in the last month, and if we have a new application in, we should be all set. Okay, we have a motion to approve the draft resolution? Somebody?
I'll make the motion to approve the draft resolution.
Second? Bad seconds, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
You're all set, Mike?
I don't think we have to see you next month. Oh, I'm sorry. You're welcome to come. We can always, like to have an audience, you know.
When I get available time, I will be back.
Mike, just contact me and we'll coordinate, okay?
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sonia's gotta
That
talk to him.
takes care of that one.
346, line number 6 is the same case. We reached
okay.
out to Charlie, who's representing, and he supplied a site plan depicting all the remediation, so that
Okay.
one covers the same general aspect, so we can finally move
So
past
we
that
just
one
get
as well.
push off on that, all right.
Now, for 280 Jeremy Swamp Road, line number 5.
I don't remember this one. Which one?
So we approved an application, then the gentleman went out and did some clearing, and then he just pushed a little bit too far into the upland review area.
Oh, yes.
I had spoken with the owner today, and they were going to draft up a site map to bring to this commission. Essentially, we need a small area of upland review area remediated and stabilized. There were 2 subject trees that were removed. One was in the proposed location of the future driveway crossing, and the other was stated to be a dead tree. So I will follow up with the aspects of the tree removal. But as far as getting on a site plan, the stabilization of the small area that was encroached on, that seems to be all that we would really need.
But we don't have a plan for that yet.
Don't have a plan yet,
Okay,
nope.
So we can, this one's gonna sit, we'll put it off until next month till we get the final details in, and then hopefully we can clear it off.
Perfect.
Okay, we're on to old business. Application 1710, 40 Berkshire Road.
All right, so hopefully I can take a back seat after this, but
Now, you're on.
40 Berkshire Road was Mr. Cristiano. Mr. Cristiano, Thad, this is the gentleman up on Berkshire Road that has the crazy driveway on the side of a cliff,
Oh, yeah.
essentially. So, I've been working with Mr. Cristiano, who has been more than amicable with either the remediative action that is gonna need to be conducted or in following through with his intended application. The issue with this is the work that was conducted crosses various town parcels and paper roads. The town has no purpose for these parcels. They're unusable land, and they've been used as a driveway access to this cottage since the 20s. Mr. Cristiano and his lawyer are currently actively working on calling all around the United States to get previous ownership documentation to prove out some form of adverse possession, whatever the case may be, because that would allow him to legally be able to.
Is the town opposed to just selling it to him?
We can't, because as per our town disposition policy, we can't sell anything to a potential buyer unless it's contiguous with their lot. And since we have paper roads that divide the parcels,
Oh,
it's
please.
impossible,
My
Oh,
question,
easy.
my question is,
very difficult.
if one of the owners of one of these little tiny plots doesn't pay their taxes for 50 years, isn't it automatically go over to the town? The town takes
Yeah, the town
ownership?
approaches them and offers them the ability to sell it back to the town. And that often happens. Then there's a site visit I personally go on to conduct to make sure that no chemical
So our
dumping.
issue is tracking down who may have owned
The
this?
issue is purely on the applicant, to do all the legwork from a legal
Oh, yeah, I
perspective, to
understand.
prove
I
out
would
what,
think adverse possession is the easiest, if they've been actually running it for 20 years.
just needs to prove it, frankly, and that's up to the lawyer. Now, where we stand from a wetlands perspective, if Mr. Cristiano isn't able to prove that out, and that becomes clear and evident, then remediative action's gonna have to be conducted. That's how I see it. And it's just gonna
Which
be
gets tricky, because he doesn't have title to the property,
correct.
and you still need consent. Well, the town could give
The
consent
town
to
can
it,
give
to what
consent
it
to it.
has.
They can't
Is there anything that
relinquish
should be
it.
done at this point to make sure it doesn't get worse?
I can perform a site visit, discuss adequate erosion controls for the time being.
That would help.
I'd be happy to do
Well,
that.
we already went over some of those details,
Last time we were there, yeah,
right?
but just assessing how the erosion controls have held up. I think that's gonna be the case for me. Seeing any areas of failure, addressing those areas, and making sure that what stands currently is going to adequately protect from erosion.
'Cause this was the first time I'd ever been up there, and this is a very steep slope.
It looked like it from the photographs.
And, I mean, it feels like it seems like a no-win situation the way it is right now.
Oh, it's a win situation if we just let him do it,
But,
and
but,
then we give him a driveway.
but we really don't have the authority to,
It's almost impossible.
yeah.
Completely. So it's a tough spot we're in. There's a clear, simple solution, but getting to that simple solution is a very arduous process.
Have they approached the town to see if it would oppose an action for adverse possession? Because if they don't oppose it, that'll go through pretty quickly.
The temperature that I gathered was that we wouldn't oppose this
Okay.
one. I've not gotten anything confirmed
Okay,
with
well,
that.
that's up to council to do it, but this is fixable.
Completely. I agree. But I have my fingers crossed for the adverse possession as it stands right now, because it'll result in a difficult area of property getting addressed and remediative action getting conducted. So
Okay,
Just getting there is gonna be tough.
So the way we left it when we were there was that to try to stabilize what he's already cut out,
right,
not go any further and do anything else until we get word that he has the authority to actually
do something.
put this road through there. But in the meantime, not allow, stuff to just pour down the bank.
That's why I asked, is there anything else we should do now to prevent exactly that from happening?
Well, I guess the only thing I would suggest is that we go out there to look and see if he's taken those steps that we asked him to.
And that's exactly what I'm gonna do, Thad.
Our underworked enforcement officer will take a look at that.
I'm pretty free these days.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Okay, so nothing we can do with that one. We'll bring it up again next month. Okay, application 1711, I believe we've already dealt with. So we're now going on to 1712, which is 37 Painter Road. The yard cleanup.
Just state your name and your address for the record.
Dan, 37 Painter Road.
Go ahead. Tell us where we stand, please.
I cut down some trees. I got in trouble.
That is a very short summary.
So Mr. Vecchiarelli had some tornado issues when I arrived on his site to review pool for a different application. I saw a lot of tree work had been done in the back of his property. A lot of wood chips were just strewn across the ground. Some logs were in the back and everything like that. And it was just generally destabilized. So when talking with Mr. Vecchiarelli, explaining in the wetlands purview, explaining the wetlands on his property, he became aware of his need to remediate and clean up the problem. He had actually conducted some of the remediation himself, to which I kind of, slowed him down a little bit. We wanted to make sure that inland wetlands was involved in the remediation. He had approval for everything. Thus far, Mr. Vecchiarelli has kept up on everything that was asked of him. He's installed erosion controls. He's installed a de-energizing riprap for his, it's a footing drain or a yard drain?
Footing.
It's a footing drain. So he is added a dissipator for that. Generally has cleaned up his property. He's not looking to expand his lawn area. He's just looking to stabilize the area that's affected. And I have added into the draft resolution that the seed mixture that is used for the stabilization would be an approved mixture from this commission. As it stands, I think
That
that's
shouldn't be difficult.
pretty much it.
Do we have the equipment for removal of logs? How you gonna get them out?
I think they've already been removed.
There's nothing left.
Yeah,
Gone?
they're gone.
Okay.
How about the stump grinding? What's the status on that?
I was waiting for a yes or no on that.
What does that mean?
He's looking to gain approval to conduct stump grinding rather than leaving the stumps in place,
Okay,
as is traditionally the preferred method from an inland wetlands perspective.
yeah. Cutting them down low is okay, but it chews things up when you dig them up, as you probably know. We prefer that they not be chewed up, because it helps hold everything together. I don't know what the property looks like. I don't know if that's an issue for you.
There's just some stumps that are well out of the way, that are like right in the middle of the yard that I was looking to
Ah.
get
There.
rid of.
Do you have the, do you mind?
Do you have an idea of which ones? They're talking about?
Yeah, Dan, if you don't mind popping over here real quick. That one was well out of your yard, and anything over here, right? Are there any stumps back here?
Nothing, no.
It's really just that one, and then,
This one and, this one here and Those two.
and these two?
Those two. It's effectively a lawn area in this
It's what it looks
region.
like.
It's pretty much completely cleared. It's everything back here that we're trying to increase the buffer
Right.
for. This one I know can get ground down. That's not an issue. It's very far from the wetlands area. Potentially that one, but it
It
would,
looks like this is another one you want to get rid of.
Yeah, it's a little tiny thing, but I just always hit it with my mower deck.
Yeah, isn't that horrible?
that is
I've
frustrating.
done that.
He has a nice skag, so he doesn't want to hurt it.
Well, let's modify the resolution so that these specific units can be removed, or do you want to go out and flag them?
I'd be happy to go out and flag him.
All right, let's amend the resolution so that we can approve stump grinding on the stumps which will be flagged by the enforcement officer. Does that work for you?
Works.
Good. Is that okay with you guys?
And also, doesn't it include that there's no heavy equipment to go back there within the,
That's what it says.
yeah.
There shouldn't be anything in the wetland. But I think if he's gonna take a stump grinder in there, it's gonna have to go within that.
In the
And
upland
50
review
feet.
area at least.
So we'll add that. And accept for stump grinding.
And if I remember, you were putting a swimming pool in?
Swimming pool's already in.
It's in.
It's already in, okay. I can't-
That was
yeah.
approved previously by the last.
I guess I saw it then.
Was?
Yeah,
Ty.
Okay.
Okay, let me ask, I shouldn't ask. When you pump down your pool, where's the water go? When you pump down the pool, where does the water go?
Hopefully nowhere.
Well, it's gotta go somewhere. It's coming
Well, no,
out.
I bought a block to keep all the water in,
Oh, good. Good for you.
because I run off a well, so I don't want to refill it every season.
Right. Smart. Good idea. Okay. I guess I'll move to adopt the resolution as drafted with the addition of an exception for stump grinding, up to 4 stumps to be marked by the enforcement officer, and that equipment may be taken into the upland review area for that purpose.
Thank you.
Need a second? All
Second.
seconds?
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Opposed? None? Motion passes. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
And just reach out and we'll schedule the flagging.
All right, sounds good, thank you.
Okay, we are on to 1235 Georges Hill Road. I don't remember this one.
Yeah, you
That's
didn't
it.
really have much to do with this one. This is the draft resolution. So yes, Mr. Brown is the son of the owner, Mr. Hedke.
Yep, Mr. Hedke,
Um,
who is the property owner.
Mr. Hedke's the property owner. Mr. Brown had conducted some light earthwork, I would call it. We got a complaint from the neighbor regarding commercial vehicles, assessed the site from the neighbor's property, determined that earthwork was occurring within the upland review area of the adjoining wetlands. A cease and desist was issued to Mr. Brown, to which we agreed that if Mr. Brown got in an application and site plan, that would suffice and we would follow through with the enforcement through the application process. Thus far, Thad and I have conducted a site visit to the property, spoke with Mr. Brown and Mr. Hadkey, and I have a draft resolution written up. The one item that Mr. Brown had discussed, and do you have a site plan by chance?
Yes.
This is the one we drafted up?
One that I drew up, yep.
Okay. So, Bob and Thad, if you don't mind grouping up over here. Border of the property, large swath of wetlands.
Okay.
1235. This is a drop-off right here, and he's proposing to increase this as a berm because most of the water that channels down this large hill, Thad and I kind of visually assumed that it would choke point and channel a lot of the drainage into this. Most of the drainage enters the property and just, leaches out and infiltrates.
Yeah.
But a small portion would channel into this off this bike track. And that is right about here. So there is the bike track coming up here. This is the berm, and then the drop-off occurs right there.
Oh, okay.
More,
That makes more sense.
this is what that drop-off looks like currently. It's a lot of riprap, and just general, debris located in this area. So he wants to berm it up slightly, as well as stabilize and continue to stabilize the area of disturbed soil that he's begun stabilizing. Mr. Brown owns a hydro seeding company, so the ability to stabilize is
That helps.
advantageous.
Yeah, I hydroseeded some of it already, but I left an area open, so if you guys wanted us to build, I proposed a stumpage berm, because a lot of times on heavy sites, like engineers request that for heavy erosion control, and it eventually turns back into
Yeah,
organic material.
Dissolves, right.
So I left a section of it unhydroseeded, so if you guys want us to do that, we can go in there, make a stumpage berm. I proposed 4 foot 5 by 2 foot tall,
Okay.
and then after we build that, we could hydroseed, the rest of it and stabilize it.
And you were also gonna take that big pile of wood
Yep.
out there, you were taking that someplace?
Remove that, yep, and haul it off in an organic
And
dumpster.
that's been done, right?
I started doing it, but I didn't want to do anything until you guys fully approved it.
Understood.
Do we have an application that covers those points?
Yes, we do. Not the removal of this was completely outside, and while we were on site, Mr. Brown had inquired, since we're under a cease and desist, is this okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
To which Thad and I had completely said, this is completely outside
rid
of
of
the
it.
scope of the cease and desist, and you are more than welcome to remove that slag
Yep.
with a simple truck.
Okay, what about the stump berm? Is that in the plan?
The stump berm is on his plan. Is it in the application?
No, it is not in the application because we discussed that when you guys
After the
visited.
fact, the application was written very simply, just
Okay.
stabilization, I think is the gist of
Just-
it, yeah.
Slight cleanup and stabilization.
So,
It needs to go in the application.
okay, I will have, Mr. Brown amend the application. We won't redo any fees or anything like that. We'll just get different verbiage in that application file.
Yeah.
We'll get that filed, and we should be able to move forward with
Okay,
this.
I guess we're gonna let you, I'm gonna suggest that we let you ensure that that gets done, and then we can approve the resolution with that amendment
Wonderful.
and get you out of here.
Okay, thank you.
Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, so I'm gonna move that we amend the approval to add in that, the stumpage berm will be in conformity with the revised application, which is to be submitted. How soon? A week?
I could do it, yeah, as soon as,
Within a week of
Yep.
today.
yes.
And that's subject to approval by the enforcement officer. Okay? Okay, good. Okay.
So
With that,
effectively,
any other comments, questions,
No,
suggestions?
I mean, I think it was a pretty straightforward
Yeah, it's just cleaning it up.
thing. It was not a major problem there. As
So-
a matter of fact, that his neighbor had more in the wetlands than he had.
Oh, more work for Jordan.
No, he wasn't doing anything in it, but he just had stuff that had fallen down, I guess.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, okay.
so as soon as you get the new application
So
into
the
me.
motion is
all set.
made, we
Sounds
need a
good.
second. Mr. Laflamme again, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No opposed, motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You got it.
Okay, we're going to
114 Overton.
114 Overton, application 1716.
Hi, guys. Anis Kastrat.
Hello.
Hello.
Wonderful. So Anis had reached out to me inquiring about his property. So I performed a site visit, determined that he had done some, again, light destabilization, light grading in the back. We had some tree removal and investigating the back area. It was determined that he likely has wetlands back there. So he would be operating in an upland review area. He's now just looking to gain after the fact approval for maybe one tree that was potentially in the upland review area, as well as stabilizing his grass and reclaiming the lawn area. He had mentioned during our site visit that he intends to generally level his property, which, to my opinion, is in lockstep with the purpose of this application, because the application is for the purpose of stabilizing disturbed areas. If he's proposing to, it's a very flat yard, so the amount of leveling he's gonna have to do is very minimal, but Mr. Honest wants to have the perfect flat yard, and I completely understand that. Just like a golf course, I'd be the same way.
Well, for the kids. It's always
Hey, for the kids,
You
absolutely.
know, it's easier to get rid of the
Yeah.
kids, seriously.
Yeah.
So, this seems pretty straightforward. There was one area that Thad and I had determined was a little damp after a dry day. So we kind of just wanted that
Stay out of that.
restabilized and reseeded for the purpose of wetlands, while the rest of the property would be reseeded for the purpose of his lawn area.
What do you think, Thad?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty straightforward.
Okay, no issues? Okay. We have a resolution?
No heavy equipment shall be used or staged within 50-foot upland review area. I didn't really see any reason
Okay.
to
Dress it up.
include much else.
All right.
Okay.
So, motion to approve the draft resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve the
All right,
draft
good man.
resolution as stated.
Can you second? Mr. Corley? Motion is approved. Well, is all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None. Motion is approved.
How soon do
Thank
you
you.
intend on stabilizing?
I don't know, because I want to do the driveway,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd rather do that before the driveway,
That's fair.
right?
Do you have
So
the
it's
erosion
like,
controls in place?
Started with the silt fence, but got distracted, but,
Okay.
it rained heavily last night.
Mhm.
Took a look at it this morning. I've been doing a lot of raking, just hand raking.
Yep.
And it just looks fantastic, like
Everything's
there's no
holding up.
puddling or anything going on, so looks good.
Get the remainder of the silt fence in for that
Okay.
run,
Mhm.
and then you can pull me over for a quick site visit, look at everything, and
Okay.
you'll be on your way as far as
Okay.
that goes.
So after the silt fence, call you over, right?
Call me over, yeah, and then if you wanted to get to work on seating, they just issued you approval to do so.
Oh, okay, so I can
So-
start with the grading?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
It's
Yep,
best,
you're all set.
it's best if we have the erosion controls in for the whole project, though.
okay.
So I just want to double check those.
So I call you after the grading, or
Erosion controls.
call you for erosion control?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Get those done
Gotcha.
first, and then call
Okay.
me, and then you'll be on your way.
Okay,
All right?
all right, thanks, guys.
Very
All right,
good.
have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, that's the end of old business. New business?
Can I just say how many items we just got off the agenda? This is a big day
few.
for me.
Okay. We don't want you to get bored.
Yeah.
Mr. Van Gelderen, would you care to join us, sir?
Everyone, Peter Van Gelderen, 655 North Georges Hill.
Mr. Van Gelderen had
Drawings.
provided some photographs prior to this meeting that Sonia will get up on the screen for you to indicate the plant growth that we have right now, and I believe this is all just natural.
Yeah, just, we haven't touched it since we got the letter from you guys, so
Yep.
it's all just stabilized since then. This is what it
So,
kind of looked like when we started. I just,
right, yeah, plus a lot of trees and stuff like that.
oh, yeah.
For those of you who weren't there, this side, where's the road? Oh, it's,
The road's on the,
Yeah,
on this
it's
one,
on
it's
the
on the right, and on the other view, it was on the left. No, that's still, the road's still on the right there.
road's still on the right here.
With the house in the top right
Yep.
corner is the
Yep.
roadside.
This had all been cleared. There was no vegetation when we were out there.
No, it was pretty well destabilized, and it's really reclaimed itself well.
Yeah.
For the purpose
There we
of the show cause, effectively, nature has run its course, and Mr. Van Gelden has gotten stabilization as far as this goes. Frankly, he's cleaned up the area. He has some goals as it pertains to the application we have in-house. So I would suggest that he be removed from the show cause as it pertains to the work that was conducted, and we handle any future proposals as a
New
landscaping
application.
plan, as it currently is being proposed, because
I-
Mr. Van Gelden wants a footpath, selective plantings.
Yeah, that's an issue, because it's all right along the stream.
Correct, so I would like him to be off the enforcement aspect, and just move into
Are you
a standard
Are you
application.
content that it's stable enough that we don't need to do anything? I mean, it looks pretty stable.
Frankly, if no additional work was ever performed out here, he's gonna be pretty much stabilized in the next 2
I
weeks.
suspect that, yeah. I
Um,
haven't seen-
but how we wanna treat the future proposal is up to this commission.
Well, the future proposal,
For the record, we are just accepting the application tonight.
we don't have in front of us. So,
It's represented on this plan.
okay. I will tell you, I have,
It's really a landscaping plan. In my office,
Well,
we're having
landscaping
fun, you know, like,
with
let's put
paths.
plants, indigenous plants, and make it beautiful. So if, it's probably outside of stabilization, for sure.
yes, I think it is too. Let me ask you a couple of questions. On this drawing, which you guys don't have,
If you guys wanna step over, I apologize, we don't have copies.
there's a green crosshatched area which is parallel to the roadway. And that is currently overgrown.
Yeah.
I can't tell from this what you plan on doing with that.
Just ground cover. I was gonna put grass or, just something to stabilize. It's just flat.
Do you mind cycling through those photos one more
It
time,
was
Sonia?
flattened. It looked like
So
it was
this is,
flattened.
that's this area
It's
right
kinda to the
here?
right.
It's a rather, yes, up there, extensive area. For those who haven't been there, there is a cut on the roadside of that that's
Yeah, it's the best one, Sonia.
3-4 feet high.
It's a cliff.
Oh, I'm sorry,
It's a
the
cliff.
roadway?
It's a vertical cliff,
Vertical ledge.
about 3-4.
4 feet. You're fine. Feel free.
You're
Step
welcome
on
to
up.
talk, it's
You're
okay.
more than welcome to talk.
She wants a beautiful stream. You can blame it all on her. That was
So-
my honeydew
Oh, perfect, then
list.
have her come
Yeah,
up and talk.
It's just a honeydew
Part-
list.
But part of what's gonna, that was not exactly good soil in there.
No, it's not coming back
It's
as
rocks,
well. Well, it's sort of clay. It's very.
clay and rocks, yeah, I would agree with
Yeah,
that. So if you wanna do something in there, that's probably gonna have to have soil brought in. You're not gonna get
For
anything.
growth purposes, you think?
Yeah, you're not gonna get grass and
Sure.
stuff to grow in there. And on the other side, where the pathway is. to
Where
to
the
left,
photograph is being staged currently.
Right.
You're kind of standing on the path as it's represented in this
That's-
photo.
Has soil, it had some native plants growing in it.
That's
Looked-
very,
It looked pretty
very
good.
good soil, and
But-
I had a lot, you can see skunk cabbage.
Yep.
You see,
But if you're gonna have, again, if you're gonna have a path in there, it has to have something on it, or it's gonna get overgrown, I suspect. You can't really walk on skunk cabbage well.
unless we chop and drop, something, we'll have a sign.
Well, the question is really, what do you wanna do with it? I mean,
Is it stone?
it's
Is
right
it-
next, it's right next to the creek. We
You s-
can't just say, fine, go in and do what you want.
You say
Right, right,
grass
we talked
or
about
gravel?
Wood chips, but you guys, you didn't really like wood chips because they float.
We-
they're
yeah.
overflow, so-
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna
So
fly.
that doesn't work, and then we talked about gravel, but
Well, I think you're under the same problem with gravel, don't you?
with what?
Depends
you
on the
put-
size.
It kind of,
Like pea gravel in there, it's gonna all be
Pea
in the
gravel
stream.
would absolutely go, but you
Right.
get nice large
Put in-
sized river stone,
Yeah, that'd be fine. That's not
you're
gravel.
different.
though.
And then frankly,
like
you
a
know,
river rock, something.
yeah,
like a 1 inch or
yeah.
something like
Precisely.
that, yeah.
That's not gonna go anywhere, that's gonna interlock and smooth enough that it's gonna not catch a lot of friction from anything flowing over top of it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we don't want shot rock in there either. That would be wrong. So I think the plan needs a little more fleshing out,
So
a little more detail so
I
we know
think
what
what
we're
the
dealing with.
commission is looking for is, like, how wide would you like the footpath to be?
Yeah, it's literally just so we don't get poison ivy when we
Mhm.
walk along our river, right? 'Cause this is
Can they
been
put a weed
inundated.
mat under it so that the growth won't come through the rock? Because it's gonna, you can
If we
Yeah, it's
approved
gonna come
the
Okay.
stone walkway, I think putting a weed mat underneath it
Yeah.
would only be,
Because
only
otherwise
be
that stuff
prudent.
will come right through.
Completely, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I hate
we'll-
weeding just as
We
much
could
as the
do
next
flat
guy.
stones too, we could just use
So
what's already there.
there are several options, but we don't have them. So I know this is a royal pain, but we kind of
Yeah,
need,
we're 5
we need
months
enough
into it. I'd like
enough
to just keep it simple.
detail that we can say, okay, that's fine. Because right now, I don't see how we can approve this plan because it doesn't actually tell us anything.
Can you,
And the water is lit, as you know, it's right there.
Yeah,
I mean, you can step in it from the path, so,
Mhm.
without drafting his plan for him,
which I'm not gonna do.
of course not, are there specific considerations you'd like him to focus on as it relates to a new plan?
I think we absolutely need something that shows us where the path is gonna be, how big it's gonna be, what it's gonna be made out of.
So I think the path is a big deal
Mm.
as it stands. Frankly, we all want this area to be vegetated.
Mhm.
So I think you asking for permission for a selective vegetation in a certain area, so long as a significant amount of topsoil didn't need to be dumped in the area, that would go over fairly simply. It's my assumption.
Well, we're not trying to just make a path, it could just be like a succulent or something that's like, doesn't grow, like a weed, something long.
Okay, but
That would hold us
But
back.
when we give you an approval, we kind of know what you're going to do with it. If
Yeah.
you were 50 feet from the stream, it'd be a different matter, but you're literally in it. And, well, you're not literally in it, but you're inches away from it. And then on the other side, where this flat area is this area, if you're going to have ground cover on there, we kind of need to know what it's going to be and how you're going to take care of it. Because again, it's right there. You're not going to be, it's not going to be easy to get a mower in there to clear that.
Right.
The question though is, has any of this rock been disturbed or moved
It's all been disturbed.
recently?
It looked like it to me.
Well, this cliff there were just a lot of like rocks right here, so I just moved them to the edge of the water. just to create
Yeah,
a clean
but
edge.
the area where this growth is, right, that you're looking at, it kind of looked like you took your dozer and scraped it out, because it was flat, and there's nothing growing on it.
The area to the opposite of
Well,
where we're
I had to just-
on our side.
So imagine 20 trees falling across that. So I have a mini excavator. I just wanted to get the trees out. So when that mini excavator, you just needed a path, that's what happened.
Yeah, well, you're
And then
using,
I had to back out, so I did kind of clear on the way out.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not necessarily criticizing, I'm just saying that's what happened.
Yeah.
So yes, it's all been disturbed. And if you're gonna replant, I don't think you're gonna get grass to grow in there. There's not enough dirt. I
Yes.
could be wrong.
Well,
I mean, I can't get grass to grow in my yard, which doesn't have rocks, so.
So upon your suggestion, I went up to that indigenous plant place.
Mhm.
Very nice guy. We talked for a long time because we're both environmentalists. And then I just started to write down different plants that
Mhm.
I thought would work. But, given the soil's really clay and not great, but it probably gets flooded there occasionally, so it's.
I'm sure
it's
it
gonna get-
does.
It's gonna get,
It's gonna get inundated once in a while,
yeah,
probably once or twice a year.
yeah. So there are plants coming in already,
Mm-hmm.
just a little slower than everywhere else. So we could just let it go fallow and it would definitely.
That's fine, if you wanna do that, but that's not what you said a few minutes ago.
Right.
So if
Well,
you wanna
I'm
go
not-
in there and maintain it and cut it,
Yeah,
then we've got some issues with how you're gonna do that, and again, I don't want your tractor in there again, really.
right, right,
I mean, it's one thing if you have to, but not just for fun.
You know me so well. Yeah, so I have a little tractor, which is like a mower tractor, we could mow this and then that'll create more density, but we don't really need to. It's sort of nice, we like it wild like this, but at some point, it's gonna be, a few things that we really don't like, which is the Japanese barberry.
You're more than welcome to pull that out, that and the multiflora rose and
Okay.
and the
They're invasive, so yeah,
Yeah, they're invasive and they carry
Russian
ticks.
olive and the,
we don't want them.
we don't want any of that stuff. That'd be great if you want to get rid of all that. We're happy to give you permission to
But I
take
gotta
out
put
the
something back in
invasives.
if I take
Right.
it out. And I gotta let you know what that is, whatever's going back in.
If-
When I said indigenous grasses, I didn't mean like a lawn, I meant like grasses, something that.
Oh, okay. I interpreted that as,
Yeah, I don't wanna mow there, I
For-
can't,
for-
I can't get a mower
well, that's what I
there.
was
That's his
saying. You can't
concern,
get a
yeah.
mower, you can't get in there. And you don't want to, I know, nobody wants to take their weed whacker in there and cut
No,
stuff
no,
like
it's
that.
already, we've got weeds everywhere else, we don't need more, we want it to be natural, we wanna be able to walk, and we don't wanna get prickers or the
Right,
barberries on the
absolutely.
road, and the poison ivy, everything else is actually pretty nice there, it's lilies and skunk cabbage and, you know, pretty reasonable stuff.
Yeah,
We're
and the
okay
skunk
with it.
cabbage tells us it's wet,
Yeah,
you know, so we know that. So, yeah, I just think we need, if you can just, the basic idea is fine.
yeah, yeah.
I think we, as, given that it's our job to take care of the stream,
Yep.
kind of need to know how you're going to deal with the path and what you're really, a little more detail on what you're going to do on that area next to the roadway.
So Sonia, confirm that this application is only being accepted today?
Yes.
It is, okay.
So you have time. And we don't want to drag you off into the middle of winter
I
either.
have no, you know, I don't have, we're really not working on it, I was just happy to get the logs out. And this
Yeah.
was
I'm
the
sure,
Aftermath,
yeah.
you know, we're not trying to make it, you know.
Now, there were
Bronx-
also on
Bronx,
the top, I'm not sure where I am actually, but as you're going up the stream on the left, you had that little cliff, and there was a bunch of logs up on that.
Yeah, I can reach over and grab those and pull
Okay.
them over.
From
I don't
his-
have to get back down
And is
there
that in the
anymore.
application? Because that's within 50 feet.
Correct,
So
and
if
I
it's not, it
don't
needs to
believe
be
it
added.
is.
And
Understood.
I'm removing them from above,
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But we just, again,
yeah, that stuff's coming
you're
down.
close to the stream, we need to know how you're doing it, and then we'll probably say, fine.
Yeah,
Because you're clear up there
yeah.
from the house side.
Yeah, the hard work's been done.
Yeah, we had also a lawn, you know, grass was growing back in, so I wanted
Right.
to protect the stream from any runoff, so that's all grown in also.
I think there was
That's
another
okay.
issue too, which is the duck shed, which I
That's been
believe,
clarified.
Yeah,
What does
we're
that mean?
meeting tomorrow over the woodshed and the duck shed, so duck shed's going over here.
okay,
That- The only thing that I think would be controversial is I'd like to have a ramp down to the water for the ducks. And it's a simple thing, but I don't know if you guys are okay with that.
made out of what?
It's just grass. It's just-
Lawn.
What?
Lawn.
Lawn.
Yeah, I don't
You
have
okay
a
with
problem
It
with that.
appears, and I don't have my original report on me, but it appears that,
There's a wall, for some reason, so this used to be the front of the house, like, I'm sure at some point Kettletown Road was
Yeah.
was a windy little road,
It was.
and then the state came in and made it flat, and got it way up in the air, so had no access anymore.
So,
he just wants to
yeah,
see
I
that.
walked it.
And
Yeah.
that's frankly,
And it's already cleared. I don't really see that that's a problem.
Okay,
yeah, there was no large trees, it was likely
No.
just brush.
it's this one right here. like-
When we were
just like
there,
this is all,
Yeah.
this,
Yeah, we're looking at this one, you're looking at that
yeah,
one.
when
Oh,
we had
same
been
thing.
there, it had been seeded,
yep, it's all
but it
gone
hadn't,
back.
none of it had come up at the time. Okay, so really, again, that needs to be an application if it isn't, and that just
Okay.
becomes part of the lawn to take care of, but again, you can't expand it.
Yeah, what?
Expand it. It's already there.
It's the area
Yeah.
that he's
Don't
proposing just.
Take anything else out,
Seeded
plant grass on
up to
it,
the
because
water
that's not what we're saying is okay. Our remit is to, again, protect the water course. This is already there,
What
let
is
the
that?
ducks go, that's fine, who
Yeah.
cares? But
Oh,
we don't
okay.
wanna, we don't
So
wanna start
big?
moving
That's
that
when
and
ducks are
enlarging
friendly.
it.
No,
Okay.
okay, yep. And then, so I'm just gonna give you,
hold on to this
I'll
if
just
you
pick
Oh, yeah, I was at it.
indigenous grass,
Yeah.
not like a
Yeah,
lawn
yeah.
grass
And-
that's mowed, but more like
And-
there's another name for those grasses.
Yeah, the ones that get,
Russian,
this, yeah, I know what you mean.
like
Yeah,
seagrass, but it would be indigenous. The guy told me a list, I should have brought a book and just given you a name, but I'll redo it.
and
And I'll
like,
keep it more towards the stabilization. You know, the other stuff, like I'd love to do a fence, a privacy fence, but that's on the road. I don't know if you're okay with that. This-
Oh, the road is, that's all town property anyway.
we can't, you're not gonna be allowed to do that.
Yeah,
to do a
frankly,
fence.
yeah, that would
The
likely,
town is not gonna let you go up on the side of the
that
road
would
and put
likely
up
be a
fence.
non-starter.
I mean, you can try.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's a state road.
To Steve.
Good luck I'm sorry,
Good
Peter.
luck.
I'm so
You probably
sorry.
have to go to deep
Oh,
to get, because it's next to a stream.
yeah.
By all means, go,
You can-
take a
you
look,
can
crack
try.
at it.
Okay.
But for your future proposals, that one, we're not gonna touch, and two, that's gonna be a tough one. Stabilization, yes, that's great. We'll get that represented on the map as accurately as we can. If you wanna represent a small footpath, get dimensions on there, get exactly the type of stone so that the commission can review it and then
Oh, okay.
hopefully approve it. You gotta understand, they're being asked to approve something that is almost against the goal of inland
That's
wetlands,
pretty much it.
okay?
Which means
So-
don't touch anything.
We want,
Right,
we
it's
want
don't
this
touch anything.
entire area to be vegetated and natural. You have done a lot of work to clean it up, and that is great, but your goals are to essentially make it a private landscaping area. And we
Mhm.
want to make sure that if we are going to, if the commission is, or the agency is going to allow something like that, that it is still in the ethos of what they're charged with protecting, which is the ecology and the environment of this wetland body.
Yeah, you know, if you were in Boise, the answer is very simple. No way in hell. They have a very strict rule. Anything within, depends where you are, but 25 to 50 feet of the streams, you aren't allowed to cut, you're not allowed to touch, you're not allowed to prune, you can't do anything.
So
We're
you're,
not quite that strict.
it seems simple, but you are asking for something pretty lofty. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
commission is just requesting that the plan you do submit is as airtight as you can possibly make it, so that they're not questioning what they're approving.
And if I left it, just walked away,
Then you would be removed from the show cause enforcement aspect of this. I would monitor to make sure that the stabilization in the next couple weeks is adequate. You would stabilize for the duck ramp, and we would effectively never have to talk again, Peter.
And we could do that tonight, couldn't we?
You
could we do that tonight?
That's correct.
Could we do that tonight?
You have to
Oh, we got
withdraw the-
There you go.
You have to withdraw the application.
You would have to withdraw your application. We would move forward with the enforcement aspect of tonight's meeting. And likely there would be stipulations from the commission that I be able to monitor or view the property myself.
And you can still take out the invasives.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'll let you do that. If you want to ask to do that, that's easy.
In the first place.
that's easy. We don't want that stuff there either.
You know what, Bill?
When
I'm
you
sorry.
were there, you said native drawing with everything you wanna do, like everything, so
Yeah.
I put everything.
Yes, fair enough.
And then I said, yeah, but we want more detail on the everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's
Then
true.
we're down a rabbit hole, cause then it's a landscaping plan, which is against the ethos.
Correct. So what I would like to,
It depends.
it depends, correct. What I would like to request is that you withdraw your application as it currently stands. We are going to retain the fee for the application, and what I'm gonna request is that you come in and submit a new application that only covers effectively what has happened so far. The duck stabilization and the overall stabilization of the areas that were affected. If the commission is keen on this idea, once I receive that application in the land use office and have reviewed it, and it seems concise for what we need, I will administratively approve the application at that time, and there will be the final resolution for removing you. But if I don't receive that application, you will remain on the show cause.
And you still can put in remove invasives by hand.
Remove invasives by hand.
Into this application.
Can't take the tractor down there
Right,
to do that.
yeah, no problem.
I mean, I don't
I've
think
done-
I don't think you
I've
would
done it
anyway.
anyway.
I don't
No,
think
I
you would
can't.
anyway.
There's no access past where I got.
There isn't, it's too steep.
So, let me just say back what I heard, so we're gonna just walk away from it's taking itself back to nature. It's
Mhm,
already kind
okay.
of been, right?
Yep.
And then I'm gonna remove the application,
You're gonna withdraw the
withdraw
application.
the application, and then would, so the ramp thing with the lawn,
That becomes the application.
that's an application.
It's a new
I can do
application.
that. Okay, and that's it. Is there anything else? Did I miss something?
I'll talk with you about, it'll effectively say, remove invasives by hand, stabilize duck ramp, to waterway
Yeah.
and stabilize disturbed areas, which nature has done for you.
Pretty much done for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
We're good with that.
Yeah.
Aaron,
Uh-huh,
sure.
good with that. Yeah.
so
Okay.
if you don't mind just formally withdrawing the application and into the record, yeah, you gotta speak it into the magic mic.
With my name?
Yes, I appreciate it.
So I'm
Thank
Peter Van Gelderen and Joan Van Gelderen at 655 North Georges Hill Road. I'm withdrawing the application for, landscaping and modification. We're just gonna let nature take its course. And if I need to resubmit something, I'll do that as a separate submittal.
Perfect. And Bill, if you don't mind just making a motion, effectively giving me the authority to review the application when it comes in, and that sufficing to remove Mr. Van Gelden from the show cause
Well,
enforcement.
I will move to have you have the authority as long as it is minimally, what are the words I'm looking for?
Mhm.
What are the words? Help me out.
Minimal activity?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Minimal activity.
So
'Cause
by
beyond that, you
hand-
can't approve anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
And if we, on the new thing, I could say remove invasive species by hand.
Yes,
That would be on the new
that's fine.
application. Oh, okay, good. That's all we want to do.
And the duck ramp, right?
Duck ramp,
The
remove
duck-
invasives by hand, and stabilization of everything disturbed.
And stabilization means letting it go.
In this case, it means leaving it alone.
Precisely.
'Cause
We're
it's
happy to leave
done.
it alone, right? We don't want to create too much work. Okay, I'm clear. Everyone clear?
Can you make a motion that gets
Okay.
seconded?
Yeah, I think simple's best.
Okay, so I'm gonna, subject to, no, the application's been withdrawn, so we don't have to do anything.
He's still under the show cause.
Thank you. So I will move to lift the show cause in light of the application having been withdrawn,
Subject to,
and in light of the obvious stabilization along the stream. And we don't really need to do anything else. The rest will be another application.
Subject to
Yes.
Jordan's
subject to
review.
me receiving that application and it sufficing. Otherwise, he'll stay on the show cause.
I think if we need that.
That's how we've been handling most of the show causes thus far.
Yeah, but this is a little different because he's totally withdrawing the application.
Correct, but we're still gonna have an application to approve
Yeah, but it'll be a new application.
in reference to the show cause. Handle it however you want, frankly. It's gonna get handled one way or the other.
Anyway, let's move to withdraw the show cause. And I need a second. Mr. Laflamme, all in favor? Aye. Motion is passed, application is withdrawn. Mr. Van Gelderen, you may submit a new application. Next issue is, do you want to credit him with what he paid for this application?
No, because he's
Absolutely.
putting in another application.
Yeah, I know, but we
You
kind
want
of
me-
twisted his arm.
No,
Oh, no, this is what's happening
we
for
can
all
credit him
applicants.
that, can't we do that?
I'm gonna tell you right now, this is what happened, this is what's happening for 346 Jeremy Swamp Road and 1200 Main Street
The
South.
same thing?
This is what we discussed at the last meeting with Charlie Spath, because he was under the impression that when someone is lifted from a show cause, there's ambiguity, because they haven't been issued a permit to do work,
Okay.
but there's still work to be done in a regulated area. So Charlie always got kinda hairy when it came to that, because yes, there's verbal agreement in this commission, but nothing really in writing. So we've been working to get applications in towards the end of a show cause.
Yeah, we need the application.
Precisely, that generates a payment for the work to be done and still gives the applicant something in writing stating that they're approved to do the work that this commission deemed necessary.
I don't disagree with that, except that in this particular case, we're not approving any work.
Well, work's already been done.
It doesn't matter, that's done.
Mhm.
We've just listed the show cause, which takes that as an issue out of contention, but we don't have an application to approve the new work, which is basically the duck
That's it.
and removal of invasives.
Which will be coming.
But we don't have it yet.
Correct.
So all I'm saying is, are we going to say, yes, now you have to pay for another application, even though you've withdrawn the first one?
No, I was just gonna use his payment for the next application.
That's what I
That's
asked.
the
Roll it
one.
over.
Yeah, that's-
My apologies,
That's
guys.
all right.
I just like being here all night. I'm so
I thought we
sorry.
were doing the chicken and
The
egg
answer is
thing here.
yes, we're going to apply your,
Yes, got it, thank you.
apply the initial fee for the
Yes.
withdrawn permit to the new one. Is that okay?
That's fine.
It's
Good.
perfect.
That's what we're going to do.
That is perfect.
Just trying to save him some money.
It's you and me
He's
both.
just trying to screw.
I thought you were trying to refund him. I was like, I've done a lot of work on this.
But he would have to pay again then, so that's kind of.
Oh, we don't want to do that.
Just going in circles.
Yeah, this bank's
You're
gonna
done.
freak
Thank
out.
you.
Thank you, Peter.
I'm sorry
Thank
about
you.
your path. It's just a little too delicate there.
If at any time you guys want to propose anything in the future, by all means, come to the commission. We'd be happy to see you.
We will, and we'll be here tomorrow for the duck and log thing, P
With
and
the
Z.
application,
It's all set, we paid and it's filed.
I'm sorry?
The P and Z for the wood, the building
The
and the
duck.
duck, the
Yeah.
duck thing.
I
We
think-
submitted it.
I think that went through
online.
zoning already.
That doesn't go
Oh,
to
really?
us.
Oh,
You're all-
okay.
I think
You're
you're all set.
outside,
We
you're
don't need
outside
to-
our
they're
area, so
inside,
we don't
yeah.
care.
So,
Oh, I don't need to come
no,
tomorrow?
you don't have to come to the commission meeting for zoning tomorrow. Not even a little bit. Oh my God.
We're good.
It's a
You're
good
good.
day.
So,
Go home and have a
I
martini.
like you guys, you know, we could crack a beer, it's already, you know.
give us like 15 minutes. We're almost done. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. We're all set?
Yep.
You're all set.
Oh, thank you so much.
So just stop
And,
by the land use office with the new application,
Yes.
and then
I'll
we'll
do that.
chop.
Okay, I'll keep it real simple too, just.
That sounds
duck
good.
path.
Simple is good.
All right, take care.
Thank
Thank
you both
you.
very much.
Good luck.
Good night.
All right.
I'm sorry about that.
I was probably not being clear. Okay, new business. Done. Other business. Is there anything to talk about on aquifer protection?
No.
No.
Good.
Next week,
Going back into the black hole as
next,
it has been for the last 10 years.
next month, there will be. I will have the regs finalized for you guys to review, and then we will begin the public hearing process
Okay.
for adopting the new regulations.
I have a question. So I thought I read something about Southbury Training School and that some of this, there was gonna be a proposal made to build X number of units of
Grace Meadows? No, not Grace Meadows.
something, they've got a name for it.
Low-income housing thing?
Now,
Originally, it was supposed to be elderly, low income, similar to Grace Meadows.
but this I think might be lower income or something or other.
That proposal's been bounced around for a long time. They lost federal funding for senior housing a while ago, and that was a big reason why the project was halted.
Well, something was in the newspaper just within the last week, and it was talking about,
Discussion's rearing its head again,
yeah. So if they're going to build something like that on the aquifer, does that mean we have to get involved?
Residential housing is not one of the regulated activities for aquifer protection's purview.
Unless it exceeds the storage limits for equipment and fuel and stuff like that.
Which becomes almost a standard residential issue for
Anybody.
So even though a large company would own and put this in place and people wouldn't own their individual,
it's all about the use, Thad. They can be BlackRock that's coming in for residential housing. Doesn't matter the company, it just matters the use that the specific property is undergoing. So if this was a gas station, completely different kind of,
Right.
that, now we're getting involved, now aquifer protection's purview is fully activated, and that's what they're there for.
If
Right.
they have if it's a large setup and they have like a building for storing mowing equipment or doing repair work, then it could trigger something. But if it's just normal stuff, even normal mower and, 25 gallons of fuel, doesn't matter.
Under other business, would it be out of order to, with Sonia's permission, to send a letter to First Selectman or whoever his idea was to ask her not to come to the meeting anymore, that the board would respectfully request that we'd like to have her?
I'll second that motion.
Oh, let's do it.
What's happening?
Sonia has been told not to come
Will
to
that
any
work?
more of our meetings.
Oh,
Yes, that
I'm
was
asking
the
for a motion with a letter from
hiring
the
of
board
the
to
night
request
clerks
that you
for that
stay
reason.
with our board and send it up to first selectman, or you said her name was,
Judy Lynch.
Yeah, Judy, whoever you.
That's our planning director.
Okay, so we CC the first selectman, Judy Lynch, and request that
Yeah,
she stay because of the work she's been doing.
yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
Want to draft it?
Hmm? You have more legalese than me.
Yeah, I'll take a stab at it.
Thank you. I'll sign it if you want. I don't care.
Well, let's take them, you okay with that? That
We could all sign it. I think that'd even have more effect.
might be even better.
It's like the declaration of,
Weren't we supposed to have another person here
I
tonight?
thought so. But I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, yeah, our new
Mike, somebody?
Mike, yeah, he wasn't, so he's not sworn in yet, and so therefore, even if he did come, he couldn't have participated.
Yeah, but he could have come and found out how things work. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a good thing.
Okay. I have advised the RTC about the two of you. I haven't heard from Carl, so apparently he's incommunicado at the moment. So you'll be on the ballot in November.
We
And I
could
haven't
draft a
heard from
letter
the
to him and
Democratic-
ask him to run too, so.
Pardon me?
We could draft a letter to him tonight too and ask him to run if you want.
We could do that. I don't even know who the Democratic Town Committee is anymore. Do you have any idea? I don't know who it is.
Michael Carrington, I think.
I don't know him. Could you dig up his phone number for me?
I have it upstairs in the office.
Just send me an email.
I will.
That's fine. I'll give him a call and find out what they're planning on doing, so we don't get surprised.
Is this for like an actual seat on the council, or still as a fill-in?
It's probably the same because, well, Barbie resigned, but she's a Democrat, and you're a Republican, so that won't work.
And you come to every meeting and go every sidewalk, so you should be. Brian.
Actually,
Well, I've only been doing that for 4 or 5 years.
I know.
I told Bob Antilla that last night, exactly that.
Don? Attila?
Are you registered, unaffiliated, or independent? Because I know those.
No, I'm
Okay.
registered on the Republican Party.
Okay.
He's registered as an inland wetlands MVP.
That's true.
That's right.
Registered as.
He is. Okay, so I'm gonna move that we adjourn.
Oh, there's just.
I'll second that emotion.
Sonia has something
Bill.
to say.
We got bills,
Oh, yeah, we gotta do bills
correspondence,
and notes.
minutes.
Correct.
God, you always
He just
spoil
accept
my,
everything.
trying to get the hell out of here.
Can you go to the officers report?
Bill's like, I'm good. You all good?
Is there officers report or no?
No officers report, no.
And the bills and receipts is 1,110 in receipts. And then, did you discuss the correspondence from the Housatonic River for the exposed pipe?
I didn't. We did get a notice from.
Did you get the chance to read it?
Is this from
the gas
Algonquin?
Transmission Company.
Precisely.
Yeah, I looked it over this morning. There's nothing we can do about it.
I looked it over too, and it's
just notice,
it's a
there's
done
nothing we
deal.
can
I
do.
mean, we're,
It's nice of him.
we're just gonna be watching, from the sidelines.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out where they were doing the work.
Well, they said it's gonna be almost in the middle of the
Exposed pipe in
river.
the middle of the river.
It is, but you know where the bridge is that goes to Newtown?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's just, what direction is that?
northeast, excuse me, northwest.
Sort of, the pipe is below that, the river flow. The piece of
Understood.
pipe they're doing is just below that.
Oh, it is below,
The river does this,
so it's not
across there.
Lake Zor or anything.
There's nothing, we have nothing to do with it,
Yeah,
literally. We can't, I mean, we could talk to them, but I thought this plan sounded pretty good. They're gonna they're gonna send in scuba divers with sacks of concrete to reinforce the pipe, and then they're gonna put 1 million pounds of rock on top of it.
Dry concrete.
I mean, read through that, it didn't look like there was one thing that we don't have It was just information purposes only.
All it was. It has nothing to do with us. We have no say on what they do. I suppose if we thought they were gonna kill all the fish or something, we could do something, but it's just perfectly ordinary and it has to be done, so.
Right.
It's nice of them to inform us.
But it was pretty, did you read it?
I haven't read it
It
yet.
was pretty cool. You should read
It's-
it, just for fun, to see how they're gonna do the work.
Pretty comprehensive. They did a
It's
good
really
job.
smart, actually.
They did a good job.
Sacks.
And those sacks of dry concrete, yeah, that'll work.
Probably 50, of course it'll work.
That'll 100% work. That's,
But do you know how hard that's gonna be to do? I'm glad I'm not doing that kind of work. In scuba gear?
yeah, you get.
Great. No. Okay. So that's that. Minutes? No correspondence?
Did anyone get a
Mr. Pielmeyer send us anything? No? What happened to him?
Is he supposed to?
He was so good for 15 years. We got letters every month.
From who?
Pielmeyer, Franz Pielmeyer.
The guy, is he the gentleman from down on the
Talking
river?
about Kevin.
No.
Like, why is
Not
Kevin
that, yeah,
contacting you?
no, there's-
And he's just sort of dropped off the face of the earth.
Hmm.
I don't know why.
I'll check in on him.
It's fine. No, don't.
Oh, okay.
Don't stir him up. That's correspondence, minutes.
Yes,
Any
Sonia.
comments on the May 9th
I
minutes?
do actually, did you guys, pass a motion for 346 Jeremy Swamp Road?
I don't think so.
No. So, is it, it's on the application, is that being lifted off of?
346, isn't that linked to 1200 Main Street?
Nope. 346 is the last under show cause, item 6. It's same as 1200, we just need to effectively remove it because we have all the necessary information.
I don't know what that means.
We got an application in, we got a plan in, and now we want it off the show cause hearing because they've supplied all the necessary information to get the remediative work done.
Is it all right, correct, and proper?
The site plan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we
everything
need a
looked good.
motion to lift the show cause on 346 Jeremy Swamp Road? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll make the motion. One
Second.
Bob will second, Bob LaFrance will second, Bob Laflamme, sorry. And, all in favor? Aye. All
Aye.
opposed?
Thank you,
Motion
Sonia.
passes. Thank you. Thanks,
One more
Tanya.
thing.
See, another reason why we should write that letter, right?
Yeah.
What else you got, Sonia?
I have 1710 40 Berkshire Road. Is that going to be, is that motion?
Made a motion to continue.
But are we
That's what,
reaching the deadline? Like, remember we talked about it?
oh, no, he has to withdraw. Actually,
'Cause
that's a good
by
point,
the
Sonia, thank you.
time comes in, we would be over the.
Yeah, likely, gentlemen, this application should be denied. Thank you, Sonia. This
Actually,
application,
I have a question. Do we know if we don't act on one of these on time, is it automatically approved or automatically denied?
it's not either, but it's not great. There's no automatic approvals like there are in zoning. Wetlands
Yeah,
is
'cause
the
I
only
know
one,
There is in zoning.
but there aren't in wetlands. But if someone wanted to petition the DEP, we would be putting ourselves in a disadvantaged position.
Okay, we don't want to do that.
We don't.
Okay, so let's, I will move to deny the application for 40 Berkshire on the basis that we don't have a detailed plan.
And we don't have,
It's incomplete.
don't have the authority.
Well, that's a different matter. But
You're right.
we were clearly, we could deny it for inadequate information.
You are correct.
So I'll move to do that.
Well, the thing is, we put this guy in a little bit of a bind here because we told him what he could do and not do until we got some legal authority
Right.
for him to actually do this.
Hopefully, I can provide some clarity
So
to that
what we
moving.
told him was, you've got a steep slope here, you have to make sure you get that silt fence reinstalled properly. Yeah, you need to stop doing what you're doing until we get authority to actually give you permission to do this. So,
But we still have an application issue. I'm not saying we're gonna withdraw the cease and desist. I'm just saying we should,
And that's not to say that he couldn't put in another application and have the original fee suffice for this purpose.
okay, so you're gonna cancel this one. and wait for him to straighten things out and then
Hopefully he'll come back with
resubmit.
something that might work.
And I will be working with him in the meantime to make sure that the erosion controls stay adequate. And if he's not able to get the legal determination that's necessary, then we're moving forward with stabilization and rehabilitation anyway, which wouldn't be an application.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's already cut the road there, but,
Except for the fact he doesn't have legal access.
There's always that.
yeah.
Nothing
Okay.
major, just have him
So right
arrested
now,
for
that
trespass.
it's just a statutory timeline that we're up against as it stands. And it's best not to poke the bear when it comes to statutory
So-
timelines.
So we're gonna close that one out,
We're gonna deny it.
deny
if-
it.
if you
And
guys
we'll start
determine.
over again when we get some
If and
legal
when.
permission.
If and when.
Precisely,
Okay.
Whatever enough needs then.
precisely.
It just ties up that loose end, so that we don't have to worry about it.
Well, I feel badly about the whole thing. And
Well, you should feel badly
and
about
that
the
this
whole
town
thing,
has
too.
got this is not the only house out there. There's some others, and they are all under the same,
It's a huge mess.
the whole
Right,
thing
and
is
I mean,
illegal.
It's all illegal. Well, the occupancy's not illegal,
Getting to and
but
from,
his access is illegal.
getting to and from your house is illegal.
He could have whoever owns the property call the police and say, this guy's trespassing on my property, I want him arrested.
Yeah, and now he's cut a driveway in partially, and,
He could be in big trouble, but it won't be from us.
right. But it's hard not to feel some
Well,
empathy.
It's
I-
kinda hard to believe somebody goes out into the woods and has no
does
idea
that.
who owns the property, starts cutting down trees and cutting a road.
Well, he never cut down trees.
No, he didn't, he went around them.
No, the road's always been there.
Well, he cut down something,
I don't recall there
but
being
there's a
lot
big
of tree work.
road cut. that he
Yeah, there's a
put in.
road cut, but
Oh,
it
there's
was,
a road cut. but
it was just
He's been maintaining this
stuff that was
area
3 feet high, you know.
Yeah,
as just
bulldozed it and
brush.
pushed it to its one side and tried to make a road out of it, but it wasn't his property.
I completely understand your case, that I have worked with Mr. Cristiano extensively. So frankly, I will continue to work with him. If we're able to reach an amicable solution, I will do everything I can to make sure we reach that.
Well, it doesn't have to be amicable, it has to be legal, they just have to get some legal,
Yeah, he's gotta get,
a-
he's either gotta get consent
That's the goal.
from the owners, buy the property from the owners, or bring an action for adverse possession so that he owns the property.
right. That's basically what we told them.
Yeah, and I don't even know what's involved in doing that when you have a road cut. It might just be that he only gets a perpetual easement to keep using the property he's already been using, but he doesn't own it.
Right.
Yeah.
John, the paper road
Mm-hmm.
that you're talking about, who owns the land to the left and right of the road on either side?
It's pretty much down to Southbury land on either
Okay,
side.
well, I think there's a law in the books that states if you own the left and the right of the road, you can condemn it and take it. I think I dealt with that before in some of my crazy dealings I did in
You're-
my life.
But
It's very much like
I've
riparian
not-
rights on a river.
Maybe, but not necessarily if you already have an easement and you are using the easement. I
Well,
don't
this,
think that they
this
can
road
do
he's
that.
cutting goes out interior to the lot, and then he makes a hard turn coming back out on the other road, which has also got a whole bunch of parcels
Yeah, and
involved.
that's the problem, because it's crossing all these other parcels,
Oh.
and there, apparently from what you said, it sounds like nobody even knows who owns it.
Oh, no one cares who owns it. It's a bunch of
And they don't pay any
.07 acre
taxes.
So it
lots.
doesn't become abandoned at any point in time, right?
If you don't pay taxes on it, you become delinquent. The town will
If the town, yeah, now, there's a potential solution.
That seems to be the simplest,
Town
if
could
it's
take it for non-payment of taxes, all of it,
abandoned.
all those little parcels, if they're not paying the taxes on it.
They're already town land.
Oh, okay, I
Oh.
misunderstood. I
No,
thought
they're
something was
already town
private.
land. No, if it was, he literally only cut across town land and paper roads. We cannot give him the land, because in our disposition policy, it doesn't allow us to do that. Otherwise, that would have been the one.
So then, if you can't give him the land, can you give him an easement over it?
That was my next question. That's a good question.
We couldn't, and spoke with the first selectman, giving an easement over a paper road would be a difficult precedent to set in that area of town. Because I'm promising you right now, everyone's gonna want one. those,
Maybe you should give it to them and
those-
clean the mess up.
I don't think allowing the townspeople to determine how we clean up that mess gets us any cleaner of a solution than what we already have. The
We don't
paper
have a
roads
solution.
in that area are a huge problem. They bisect most of the parcels to make them not really combinable in any sense, not to mention topography is not conducive to large parcels
Well,
anyway.
the guy has a house there that he lives in, and, you know, the thing seems like there's gotta be something.
You talk with Mark Cody, he'll tell you, we can get you a house, but you legally don't have a right to a driveway to access your house. And that's just the reality. We can put your house on the top of a mountain.
Well,
we
that
can
puts the
figure that out.
town in jeopardy, I would think, because if he can't get to his property, he can't pay taxes on it, then the town has to buy it from him, I would
He
think.
doesn't need access to pay taxes.
No, but if you have no access to a property, it's literally landlocked, I would think that that causes a problem for the town.
I don't know that it causes, let me think about that.
Absolutely.
Actually, since the property would be taxed based upon its fair market value, and you can't sell it, it has no
Or
fair
access it.
market value, because there's no access.
And
You
you,
don't need taxes.
no, and then normally it's,
Unless somebody's willing to buy it from you, because then that's the fair market value.
I mean, I've run across that in my travels too.
That's entirely possible.
You guys got solutions. Throw 'em my way. I'm open to anything.
Well, so what's this, I know we should just go home. Well, you said the town has a policy, or is it a statute that says they can't?
It's an ordinance, it's our town disposition policy, and it was drafted in the 80s.
Well, you can fix that.
Of course we can.
That's not even hard.
Couple months, but yeah.
You draw it up, you put it in the paper, it comes up, nobody says anything, it passes, you change the ordinance.
That's how it works.
That's the easiest thing to do. We changed ours a couple of years ago. It's not even hard. I think you have to publish it twice in the paper and
We have to have a
take public comments, and you have to have a public hearing. And then do whatever the hell you want. Well, subject to what you put in the paper. So there is a solution.
Well,
Yeah, but I mean, is it for
I'm
him
not
or is
gonna
it for
do
the
it.
town?
I guess it's kind of up to him to talk to the town.
Completely.
You know, perhaps a small donation to the library would be helpful.
We'll leave that up to him.
What can I say? Anyway, I'm gonna move that we lift the cease and desist, because it's not doing any good.
No. Deny the
Or,
application.
excuse me, to deny the application. In fact, we made the motion, Mr. Laflamme seconded it. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Nobody. Motion passes. Application is denied. We're worried about fees and all that crap, if and when this goes anywhere. Minutes, did we have comments? I don't think so. No comments, the minutes are approved. Thank you, ladies, for your help and assistance. I'll try to remember to draft something to I guess Judy. Whose name I don't even know.
And CC the selectmen too,
Oh,
for selectmen.
absolutely. Yeah, could you just shoot me her full name and title tomorrow sometime? I won't get to it until the afternoon, but that's all right.
Thank you.
Anybody want to leave? We would need a motion.
I make a motion that we,
And I'll second that emotion.
Everybody seconds the motion. We are adjourned. I'm assuming, well, we're all in favor since we all voted to second.